And we're back to the game. Okay, so there's a lot to do. I'm planning on making all my oil products today for phase 4. However, I'm going to fix one thing I noticed while I was standing here. This hole. Okay, now that that's fixed, time to go throw everything I need onto the list. So, at the end of last stream, I did say I was going to do some remodeling in here to clean up all of the crafting recipes. I'm mostly done that process. Everything is now up here. It is sorted per item that I'm making. It gets a little bit messier the farther back you go, but that's fine. It's all organized enough that I can follow it, and I can point out everything I'm doing at one point or another. Okay. The game is going to freeze up a tiny bit. There we go. So I am making plastic and oil. 368.5 plus 46.5. So it's a little bit more than my highest tier belts can handle, so I will just be running 2 belts for it. I don't think I need anything more than this in terms of oil. I did look over all of these. I think this is exactly what I need. So 456.5 per minute. Rubber. Caps lock on. And 368.25. Okay. And for rubber, I will be using the recycled rubber recipe, which just requires fuel and plastic. And that will require a little bit of both of these. 79.125 polymerism. Hold on. $6.375. And these throws some of my recipes off, I think. Just a little bit. Yes, oil. I think I won't make the polymer resin into plastic, I don't think. Better and better. I could make it fabric. Can we use fabric for anything here? Not really. I will just sink the fabric, I think. I'm gonna have to have all of these sink in and overflow just in case. So that's fine. .25. That'll be fine. Okay, time to go set this up. So oil is being piped in. I haven't started pumping oil yet, so it may take a minute to get that done. I have plans as to where this is all going to go. My momentum. I plan to turn this place into big oil. I have a pipeline coming up to just about there. And this nice open space here that I can use. So, making two things out of this oil, basically. I'm making plastic and I'm making heavy oil residue. Yep, always fun to blast jump. 20, almost 30. Is that actually how much oil I'll need? $52.375. So one of these pipes essentially will be able to do it. Oh, interesting. Grid is at an angle here. That's fine, I'll make it work. Right to about there. Okay, so I will need to build a lot of these things. Oh. So before I start building the whole thing, I need to revamp this. So this takes a liquid in and it outputs a solid, or a liquid and a solid in and outputs a solid. I need it to take just a liquid in and output both solid and liquid. And I would also like these pipes to be Mark II, so I don't have to worry about that. Maybe some Mark Vs. I believe that's everything I need to do to get this up to where it's going to be here. And now that that's saved, I can clean the blueprint designer, take this apart, and I should be able to find this in here. I want power. Need 19 of these things. I might bump it up to 20 for the round number, but I'm not sure. So this is 7. Need way more than that. I do have land to extend it in that direction, so it should be fine still. That's not what I wanted. Does that bring me to? That's 19, wow. I did not think I would get that far with the amount of space I have here, but that's basically it. Can I put another one down? Yes, I can. 20 plastic. And across, what is this, 20 refineries? 18.42. 18.5. It's 18.5%. That is not what I was looking for. 18.5 plastic per minute. Okay. So everything's going this way. This is for all my rubber. Or for all my plastic. Let's see. Order 56.5, 60. I need 8 of these. What am I hitting? A little orc outcropping. Less than a pipe, so I can actually use the other recipe I have here. Not this one. This one. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is 77. 96%. We're making fuel as well. A lot of residual fuel. We'll make diluted fuel. I'll take a blender. I need to go look at my recipes again. Do I? 9.25. It's 20, 185. Residue. We need 8.8 times 8. 230.4 fuel. We use diluted fuel. Only need 115 heavy oil residue. Means all of these would be enough. Could do 4 blenders and just make some excess power off of it. I think that's what I do. Okay. Does that mean I need any heavy oil residue? I don't. I actually do want to go look at my recipes again, just to make sure I'm not going crazy. Okay. Residue's correct. Fuel's correct. This was purely just to make up for the fact that I was not making enough residue to make the fuel, but if I'm making blended fuel, then this works perfectly off the one of the oil pipes, and I still have 5 other pipes to do whatever with. Nothing right now, that's for sure. Looks like I'm making diluted fuel. Need a splitter. Oh, I need diluted fuel before I can actually, you know, program the recipe. Just need one of these real quick. There it is. Okay, diluted fuel, I need 230.4 per minute, but I need to process 185 heavy oil residue for 46.25. So like 95%? It's 47. Yeah, ever so slightly more than what I'm making. And what's my excess? I'm making 93 roughly. It's for it's 230.4, 141.6. Because I can burn all of this for power. I do not recall how much power Or how much these consume per minute, and I don't think it's a high number. Head over to my actual oil setup. And find out. $20 per minute. I need 8 of these generators. Where's that chunk of resource? There it is. I don't know why I can't build over these. This is technically fueling the factory, but I am actually just burning the excess residue as byproduct. I'm not even trying to generate power here, I just need to get rid of it. And this is probably the easiest way to get rid of it. One of the easier ways, at least. I could always package it and throw it in a sink, but that doesn't make power, that just eats power. So not a lot of result. I'm fairly certain everything here is going to offset the cost of running pretty much the entirety of this oil setup, plus a good chunk of phase 4. $372. That's ever so slightly higher than 3 water extractors, which is a shame. I'd have liked to only make 3, but I can deal with that. Yes, this is version 1.2. I didn't really choose to... There isn't really too much I need from 1.2. The daisy chaining is nice. I'm not playing with any of the randomized nodes. The weather is really nice. Yo, Zen. Audio for instead of the video essay? I mean, unless I'm talking about what I'm currently putting together, it's going to be a lot of weather effects, because that's what's playing at the moment. That and rebuilding. I could pull out the boombox. Okay, that's the residue, that's the water. No usage of jackhammers in this construction site, just explosives. There's the water. I think that's actually pretty much olive oil put together, save for actually piping the oil in, and then the outputs out of oil. Let's hook it up to a pipe. Explosives are entertaining. Sure. Let's go explosive. You can really huck these things. I don't want to throw too many of these out. It certainly cleaned up the landscape a little bit. Okay, so that's the oil plugged into this pipe. And unfortunately, I have not done all of the work required on the other end of this pipe, so I need to go plug a bunch of oil pump jacks in. And then maybe add some pipes, or some pumps. This is the other end of the oil pipeline. Now, I need to hook it up, and who's shooting stuff at me? This guy. About to stop. I am dead. Well, let's try that again. 2, 3. And a back. Okay, so I need a few things. The point I'm at here is much lower than what I have on the outset of the oil fields, which means I need a lot of head lift. There is some oil up in the hills over here. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to create a bit of a station here. Four. Through about there. I need to link all of these up, so that way they all share the same head lift pressure. I can do it like this, I think. Five. That's mostly not touching. So I need to run a pipe from about there to here. It's the farthest river to the west, so that's the easiest way to find the spot again. Time to run a pipe up the cliff. Have a good night, Blue. I think I have another cliff to go up. You go away. Either it's a cliff to go up or it's a canyon to cross. Either way, gotta go through it to get this pipeline put down. Oh.
Harvest the scripture. Compose it into a blood song.
Yeah, harvest the scripture, compose it into a blood song. I'll do that. Where? Actually dead? No. Now it's dead. Okay. I ran out copper sheet. I think I had one set up over here, but I gotta check. Hope if I had it set up over here, I got rid of it. Could have sworn I had fixed this issue. I don't know though. That's the problem. I'll take one of these for free. Very rude of these things to do while interrupting me. While trying to gather the summer sloop. Right, if any place is gonna have more oops. Computer copper sheets, it's this place. Or maybe not. Okay. know we're making them somewhere, I just don't know where. I know exactly where I'm making them. The new place. Oh yeah, I encased most of the copper building. It's under a roof now, which is much better looking than being out in the open. Okay, so this is all my copper sheet that I'm making here. Gonna land. Just a quick little box there. Mark 5 going into that. And we can wait for that to fill up. At least with enough that I can go and do my thing. Thank you, Zen. I don't think it's done, but I also don't know what else I want to do with it. It was much better than having everything hanging out in the open. A lot of the foundations were just not supported by anything. It looked a little ugly. At least if I put it in a big orange box, you can't see in here where it's like super wide open and nothing going on. And I could still put this on display, the weird, silly conveyor belt mess that I put together so this balances properly. This is the only output for this. It only puts out copper ingots this way. Everything else is just making sure that these don't pile up in weird ways. I wonder how much nuclear pasta I've accumulated. That is not a bad amount. That's already enough to do phase 4. I'll let this build up again. I think I have enough. I might have enough for setting down the base amount of oil I'll need. Not for all of the pipes, but for the ones I'm putting together. I will definitely need more for the next phase. Especially if I'm gonna stop using as much of the other materials. Oop. Not this, not yet. Nope. It's meant to look really good from afar, not up close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Yes, whoosh. 120. What's this we got? 120. Yeah, these are resource nodes. I'm gonna fully power them up. This should be the highest point in the oil network, which means everything from here is going to push down on the rest of the network, which should mean I have enough head lift to make it to the desert. That will have to remain to be seen. Fluids in this game are already wonky. Moving them over such a large distance is dubious at best. It's in this pipe and it's going downhill, so that's good enough. Yes, I do have to fuss with gravity affecting fluids. All machines that produce a fluid also produce 10 meters of head lift. Oh no, is this too high? I won't actually know until the oil reaches this point. They all produce 10 meters of head lift, which means it can push up to 10 meters high anything in a pipe coming on the output, which is okay in most situations, except for when you're extracting a fluid and moving it elsewhere. All of the points where you get oil out of the ground sit pretty low, save for a few. So I'm trying to circumvent the need to put pumps on everything so I can lift all the oil down from the coast to where I'm actually using it. I'm trying to bypass that by just extracting it up higher, because as long as a network has the head lift, it doesn't matter where it comes from. So I can cheat. I bet this is a disconnect issue. Yes, it is. Okay. This is a fun part of the pipes in this game. They just don't work sometimes. I'm going to have to troubleshoot the whole network to make sure that it actually flows. Usually it's not an issue, but if you don't catch it early on, you just have to go back and hunt for these not connected, but totally definitely connected parts. This right here is one of them, I think. Oh, never mind, that's actually got oil in it. I don't think this is higher up than the coast up there. That being said, it is high up, so it has to build pressure. A lot of people don't like having to deal with fluids in this game because of a lot of different things. And there are certain quirks to the fluids, but they're not actually that bad to deal with. One thing that people can't seem to get over is, sloshing, where a fluid just flows back and forth down a pipe. That's pretty solvable, all things considered. You just cap one end of the pipe or put a big reservoir so it can't, like, hit the end of the pipe. This might be too high here. I'd have to go around this if I wanted to. It's all... What is nice though is this little indicator here does actually correlate to how high up in the system the fluid goes. So if you see this level reaching the top, that means it's reaching the top of your network, or that segment of your network. Don't know if it's going to make it over this hill though, so we're going to find out now. If it can't make it over this hill, I have some options. I could either throw one pump here, and that would bring it over the edge, or I could just bring the pipe around. Yeah. And it's bottomed out. So it sits probably about here on the pipe before not having enough head left. So this is actually about as high as the pool back there. Go away. Okay, yeah, this is capped out, so I'm going to take this apart. And I'll have to route this around the side. That's all the way up, so if I go this way... It's a little bit longer, but this is definitely the lower route. This is the new high point in the network. And now everything from here is downhill. I kind of wish the flow rate and the fill indicator were just to hover over things, so you could just look at the pipe and at a glance and see what it does, as opposed to opening it. I know why they didn't do that, but also it'd be just nice to know, without having to interact with every single segment. That's full. That's full. Yep, this is a broken pipe. Flowing. It's flowing. Okay, now every single one of these pipes has, oh, what's my ping button? It's something weird now. Key bindings. Left alt num slash. So instead of getting roughly 10 meters of head lift by getting it out of the oil fields down by this coast, I am now getting about 140 meters of head lift because I'm dropping it off a cliff. Let's see, impure, impure, normal, impure. 50. 300. This pure oil node all the way at the back out here may be enough to do all of the machines I have set up on the desert. Yep, 600 per minute. Should be normal and pure, so yeah, I'm gonna run this pipeline. And this one's going to route it right up to the middle. I just need to run power back to the pipe jack. Pump jack. And there is definitely a break in the pipe somewhere, I believe. Because otherwise this would be packed with oil from above. Fortunately, I can't tell if there's a leak, so I'm going to make my job a little easier by limiting the direction that this can flow. flow rate 0. Okay, so because I have this pipe segment as like separate from the other one, I can cut it off and flush the single little segment here, and it refills, which means this is definitely within it. Question is, take this valve, and please put it on this pipe. Shut the flow rate on that down. Now if I flush this pipe here, that refills. Looks like that's slowly pressurizing the system. That's getting plenty of flow rate. I'll reopen that back up. All these are slowly gonna pressurize. But now I have enough oil to run phase 4. Need to run the oil products over and we'll be all set for that, and that should let me get started on a lot of things. One of the fastest ways to get around, unless I had tubes that go everywhere, but I only have one tube and it's right there. Probably could install more, but not at the moment. I don't actually know why I came back here, because I still need to bring the oil stuff over. Let's get a place to bring this in. I'm importing water here. I can import the other stuff here as well. I'm surprised this is all quiet. It says oil. There's no flow rate. Must take a minute to get up here. Although I'm not so sure that that's the actual case. It's fine. I'm just gonna hook up rubber and plastic now. At least get them next to each other so when I bring them over, smart splitter on that. Smart splitter on that. I would make the awesome sink here. So then you overflow to the left towards the sink, and then you overflow towards the right towards the sink. Time to troubleshoot oil, see where the bottleneck lies. I'm willing to bet that it's just slow to get here because it's got to travel a long ways, but also doesn't hurt to find out if I messed up. It has to travel up all this way, which means it's got to fill every segment of the pipe behind it before it can get up here. There is actually a way of checking flow rate without having to open up the pipe every time. And it's actually built into the design of the pipe. I just don't use it because a lot of the time I build with a clean pipe, which removes it. But these things, these little rings outside the pipes, pulsate when they have fluid flowing through them. So you can tell that fluid's moving through them when those are moving. Okay, so the top one's getting flow. Whoa. That's... Okay, yeah, I think my theory is correct. It's just filling up every single one of these pipes, and that's a lot of space to fill before it reaches the top. And it's just taking forever to get there. Which is fine, because once these pipes are fully saturated, it doesn't have to go back and do it again. I am, however, going to put valves on it so it can't backflow into the other pipes. Yeah, because it's got to do 2 pipes worth of oil is having to fill 5 pipes worth of oil. So it's working at like, what, 40% capacity? But it still has access to the whole thing. So I can actually make this faster if I just take these and close them. I think I'll add 100 per minute through each of these, just so that way they saturate. But most of the flow rate should go through the other pipes. Or pipe, singular. So yeah, that prevents everything from backflowing. So it can only go forward from here. With the amount of oil I'm putting into this network, it should be able to fill all of the pipes at 100 cubic meters a minute, and fill and fully saturate the last pipe at 600 per minute. Yep, this one's actually flowing at 600 per minute now. When I get back to the oil refinery, it should be running. Because, yeah, I had to climb this. Which, if it's filling 5 pipes, that's a lot of oil. Still 600 meters per minute, which means it's actually using it on the other end to either fill pipe or to run processes. Probably just filling pipe, because I don't use 600 cubic meters of oil. And we got here just in time. Slowly backfilling all the way up to this point. Once it fills the bits at the back over there on the hill, then we get the full flow rate, coming right up to 600. Drops down because it's backfilling still. And then it is moving on to the next part of the pipe. We very slowly get the full amount that we're expecting. People expect this system to just be like 0 to 100%. It takes time to fill up. But once it's fully going, it's not any different than any of the other systems for moving stuff. It's capping out at 600, and everything behind me is gonna come on. Because I'm going to be importing oil faster than I use it, I will backfill this pipe all the way pretty quickly. Yeah, already making plastic. And I'm already making heavy oil residue. Which, due to the nature of the output of these, it's going to have to fill this pipe. And then once it's filled that, it overflows into blenders. See how this goes up, reaches the top, and spills over into the bigger pipe. And well, it will eventually go down there. It actually has to backflow into all of these as well. Which does help prime the system for all the other machines to contribute. But once it gets to about here, it's actually going to start splitting off. I'm going to these. So we get 5 residue in there. It's going to mix it, make 10 fuel. It's going to go straight here, and I'm going to make rubber. The only other product from this is going to be fuel, which I will burn. because it's going to take a little while to prime, even though this is flowing at still 600 meters per second. Cubic meters per second, it's not going to prime everything very quickly. We're only about halfway primed on this. Once that's all the way, all 4 of these blenders will be running all the time. All of these refiners will be running all the time. I'll probably be making more fuel than I can use. There's my rubber. Okay. Time to make a quick little thing. I think once I get the plastic and rubber all the way back to base, I will call it for the night. Yes. Stick that down right there. Perfect. And we're on the hotbar. Missing encased industrial beam. Have I been using a lot of those? I will need to go see if I'm making enough. I probably am, and they're probably just stored somewhere instead of actually being thrown in the system like I'd like them to. I'm not worried about that right now. I was going to do something with this. I don't remember what, but I was going to do something with it. Now it's going to go straight into there. Yeah, it should be enough. They can grab your hands because it's all mine. I need this, and they can't stop me. There's the 2-hour mark. It does sound a little bit like sticky keys, and I guess that's intentional because if you've been playing for that long, the game does want you to know. It is a setting you could turn off if you really don't like it, but I keep it on because having a frame of reference for how long I've been sitting here is a good idea. And that's all the encased beams I had. Time to go find more. I would have sworn I was making those encased beams somewhere. Ugh, it's not a lot. It may just be slow. I'm trying to think if I made it elsewhere, because There's that one over there, but I swear there's a better one somewhere. I just haven't plugged it into the virtual storage. This is concrete. That just goes into storage, so I don't know what that's for. I may have been sitting on that one factory the entire time. Because this is my one actual steel building. And I'm only making pipes and steel beams here. One more place I can think of. Oh, this just makes bombs. Is there a good way to make a lot of this pipe steel beams very fast? Yeah, there's signs. It's easier to find things if you have signs. Big old billboard. I just have been playing this world since, you know, day one of this world, so I kind of know where everything is. Obviously, it doesn't always work, because I don't know if I have any more encased steel beams. But also, the game has a dimensional depot, which allows you to upload things to like a sort of virtual inventory, which means you don't need to go doing what I'm doing right now, where I'm hunting for all the components, because I could just upload all of these to the cloud, and then build from the cloud, and never have to go back to one of these factories. I just hadn't hooked that up yet, so it doesn't have a backlog or anything. Yeah, the good factory building games typically have some sort of virtual inventory, because it is impossible to remember the location of every single component you need to make things. Factorio does it via the robots. They help you manage your inventory and they can place things for you. This game does it via the dimensional depot. Before these were in the game, it kind of sucked a lot, because you'd be on the other side of the map and need, like, normal iron plates and not have them. And then, I've seen another game where it's just this game's solution, but with bulkier, bigger buildings. Fortunately, I don't have a solution for encased beams right now, aside from just making it again. And I'm not doing that right now. crazy. Every time I build one of these, it's about 60-something encased beams. And I'm basically dry. I'll bring that back over later. I'm not going to do that right now. Is there anything I can finish in the factory building over there before I stop at the end? Take a look at the big old billboard and see what there is. That one's done. Cooling units just need rubber. Those windows are placed. Turbo motors are placed, but I need motors and rubber. Those windows are placed. Okay, I think I will set up for this part here, the electromagnetic generator, I believe. Magnetic field generator, okay. It's got 2 parts it needs. I haven't started on either of them. Or have I hooked anything up to these conveyor belts? I'll deal with that later. For now... seems as good a place as any to bring the parts in. Okay, these are very small setups that I need, so I actually probably can stick this right on top of this thing. Okay, this is about as far back as this thing can go. Leaves me plenty of space for all of these. I thought I needed more space, but actually I don't think I do. I will stick... some windows here. I think we can stuff a gate right here. Line. Darn, that's too steep. Let's see, can I get this? Probably over there is fine. Alright, so what I can do now that I've got those set up, I have these assemblers placed, and I have these assemblers placed. Is that really... I don't know where I got 3 from. I need 1 of these. Those 2 to feed this to as well. Okay, that's hooked up. Which means just these left. Okay, when I plug both of those machines in, they're all hooked up to this thing. Anything else? That's done, that's done, that's done. I need to make computers. That's done, that's done. I need to make a ton of cable. Ton of automated wiring. Need a lot of computers, and that's going to be another big floor space type deal. That may sit far back over here, or in this space here. It's going to be big, and I still have to plan for it, so I'm going to stop here, I believe. Because I have to wait for encased beams, I have to plan where I'm putting computers, and all of the other fun stuff. So, yeah, this was pretty productive. I got oil done. I was dreading doing that, but honestly, it was a lot easier than I thought it'd be. Any suggestions or whatnot, feel free to leave them in comments after the stream. If you liked, then do as you do, like the stream, the VOD. Otherwise, have a good night.